All right, fire away.
Hey, Zach, first question for you is coming from Casey Holdall with trailblazers.com.
Hi, Zach.
Nope.
Do you remember when you dislocated your shoulder, obviously in that third game, do you remember thinking or having an idea of how long you felt like you were going to be out at that time?
When it happened, no, I didn't know. It was all going to depend on the MRI results. So
I'm guessing.
I guess they told me before the MRI that it was going to be like a minimum of a couple weeks, and then that was going to be whether or not the MRI was good or bad. So that was at least 2 weeks.
And so when you found out, obviously it was going to be much longer than that. Like, did you remember thinking like, boy, I didn't figure that was going to be what happened from a dislocation? Because in some respects, I mean, it doesn't feel good to dislocate your arm, but it is somewhat of a minor injury just in terms of the physicality of it, right?
Yeah, when it happened and then they put it back into place, I was like, is that it? Can I go back and play? Because while it was sore, I could still move my arm a little bit, but they told me not to move it. And just to keep it in one spot, because then it would be at least 2 weeks, because dislocating it, you're going to do some type of damage, I guess. But again, I didn't really know the severity until we got the MRI, because I knew if the MRI came back and I tore something, or it was like one of three things, it was obviously going to be a lot longer. So I was just kind of preparing for that, and preparing for the worst, but not the way I felt. I didn't expect it to be a labrum, because I felt fine. Like, they even told me after the game, like, it was going to be sore when I was sleeping, and it wasn't sore at all for like 3 or 4 days. So I felt great about it, obviously, but then when the MRI came back, it was bad news.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that must have been quite a letdown for you.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, it was a really tough moment, especially first year starting in the NBA. I mean, that in itself is a big accomplishment, especially for me coming up a young guy. And then to get that taken away from me, and I also had a goal of playing 82 games and really taking care of my body this season. Obviously, that got taken away too. So it was really frustrating, and but once I figured out that it was going to be that long, sulked for a few hours, and then came to accept what it was going to be and how long I was going to be out, and just tried to be positive about it.
Thanks, Zach.
Next question is coming from Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest.
Zach, I'm curious what you thought of the atmosphere in the gym. Playing in an empty gym is one thing. They've tried to do some things. How effective was that? And then a second part of that would be the shooting background. On television, it looked kind of distracting, that big yellow screen behind the baskets. What did you think of all that?
Well, I didn't shoot anything outside the paint in that game, so maybe I'll give you a better answer when I do get some looks out there. But the whole atmosphere was kind of weird for sure. I think no fans. Even when they tried to put fans on the screen when Indiana scored, they would be throwing highlights up there, and usually that's on a jumbotron. So in a game when you're running down the court, you don't see that. But now in a game, you could be worrying about your play, but in the corner of your eye, you see something going on the screen. And I don't know if they'll change that. I know they're using this as a learning process, but, it was definitely a little funky. But, you're worried about so much in the game, and guys are so talented in the league, whether it's a scrimmage or not. You kind of get lost in the game.
Next question is coming from Jamie Hudson with NBC Sports Northwest.
Zach, with Nurk and Hassan, we know they're different players out there. So for you, when you're playing alongside either one, what are the differences for you playing alongside either Hassan or Nurk?
I think with Nurk, he's not that Hassan can't shoot. He does his little shooter thing, but he can shoot. But Nurk is definitely looking for that three ball a little bit more. So in terms of like a pick and roll situation, knowing which guy is going to pop or roll, when Myers was here, it was kind of the same thing with him. Like, he's a great shooter, but he's also a good finisher at the rim, and same with me. So it was hard for us to kind of get out there and communicate. So as long as me and Nurk communicate, we'll be fine. And then with me and Hassan, it's a little bit more black and white, kind of how it was with me and Ed Davis my rookie year. he's going to be rolling and I'm going to be popping, and it's going to be either me looking for the shot or he's going to be sealed after the pick and roll on the post. So it's going to be fun. I think, we're all going to look for each other. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. We're going to have a lot of high-low stuff that the play will be broken, and we kind of get into that. And I think it'll work really well. All of us are pretty good passers. So I think if we go out there and communicate on the defensive and offensive end together, I think it could be really lethal for us.
Another question's coming from Casey Holdall with Trailblazers.com.
Zach, obviously we talked to Nurk post game, so we kind of got to get his opinions about returning, but we didn't really get stuck. We didn't get to talk to you. So was that first scrimmage, was that meaningful to you in terms of your return, or does it? I guess just your general thoughts about getting back there and playing again after a long layoff.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment for myself. I've never been out that long with an injury. I felt really bad all year that I couldn't help my team out. It was just. It's really frustrating, but to finally get back out there and to have a chance to actually work towards something. And I'm doing an interview, bro. Come on, bro. Relax. I'm sure you guys can guess who that was. But yeah, it was a good moment. It was just to finally be back out there. It was a lot of hours in the weight room and a lot of time not being able to be with the team and being disconnected from them, and to be back out there finally, it was big time, and I'm just looking forward to continuing to stay out there.
Thanks a lot, Zach. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, last question's coming from Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest.
Okay, Zach, you started the year out as a starter, and I know you were proud to be a starter in the NBA. With the restart, would you be okay with coming off the bench? How would that feel to you, and what do you think about it?
I'm going to be a star in my role, whatever that is, if I'm starting or if I'm coming off the bench. That's been my motto from day one. You take pride in being a starter, and that's something that I've always wanted to be in this league, and I want to be a starter for the rest of my career. But if me coming off the bench helps us win a championship, then I'm 100% in.
All right, thank you, Zach. We'll wrap it there.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll have Zoom information for scrimmage availability tomorrow posted this evening. Enjoy your Saturday.